Hey everyone, my name's Victor, and welcome to the Average Uninformed, where we talk about pretty much anything, sometimes without knowing enough. Today, I'm joined by my friend Josh. He's an animator and a man who knows a lot more about movies than I do. We watched the heavily anticipated Marvel, not Marvel movie, Venom, and in this episode, we give you our review. Warning for all you lovely listeners out there, there's a web of spoilers in this, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, you might want to stop this podcast. This is the first episode, so please be gentle and enjoy. I can see when it's recording.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually.
It's not recording. No, it is.
No, it is. How do you know? You know those Facebook ads where you buy... Oh, that ad that you saw about the arc reactor from Iron Man?
Right. I was going to get that for your birthday.
Yeah. But you were like, oh, is it real?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that one, but... So I saw a replica for Mjolnir.
Mm-hmm.
A 1-to-1 replica.
1-to-1?
A 1-to-1 replica.
That's a small Thor. Chris Hemsworth is actually a really tiny person. I don't know if you know that. They size him out digitally. So he's like 6'2".
So is it like...
In actuality, he's about 4'5".
Oh, it's like Frog Thor.
Yeah.
So when they have Frog Thor in the movies, they just use Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
How big do you think this is? Like 6 inches?
Probably 7.
But yeah, I saw this online for, I think it was like $40. Yeah, about $40.
What is it made out of?
It looks like basic die cast metal. It comes apart hollow too. Yeah. But yeah, I saw this ad on Facebook.
Yeah.
While I was in New Brunswick. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'll try it and see what happens. $40. Worst case scenario, I call MasterCard and tell them I got scammed because 100% that's exactly what happened. And I waited, a month and a half, right, John? About a month and a half. And I was like, oh, I'm definitely not going to get it. And then I got an email saying my product shipped. I was like, oh, had a tracking and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I waited for it. Waited for a good week and a half, 2 weeks. And then John came home one day. He's like, hey, you got a package. And I was like, oh, said Thor's hammer was delivered today. Oh. And he shows me this little little baggie. And he's
like, dripping.
It rattles. I was like, oh no. Yeah,
the handle doesn't even really connect there.
It's connected, but it's connected by a screw.
That's a loose screw.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it like you just need to tighten it, or is it like that's the tightest it goes?
I think that's as tight as it goes, because like if you wiggle it, it doesn't change the screw on the inside.
I mean, like
this was made on the ghetto dwarven planet.
I get that you were lied to, but like it's like it looks like it's $40. Like you would buy that in a
really? You would pay $40 for this?
I'm not saying I would pay $40 for it because
you could.
But I could see that being like on a shelf, that size being priced for $40.
Where are you going?
I don't know. Go to Disney World or something. I don't know. A Disney store. Where do they sell replicas? Warhammer? I guess they wouldn't have that at a Warhammer shop.
I mean, it's a hammer.
It is a Warhammer.
It is.
But that's tiny.
Actually, there's a store down Lakeshore that has replicas of video game weapons.
Yeah.
It's called Swords for You with the number 4. And we walked by it yesterday and you saw 3 Mjolnirs. And I was like, oh, I should talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, did you hear the news today? About James Gunn?
No. Is he back on?
He's not back on. He is either in talks or has finished talks to write and possibly direct Suicide Squad 2.
That's so much worse. He might just not have work.
I don't know. It makes me kind of excited for Suicide Squad 2, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say. But it's interesting. Like, I
feel bad for that guy. First he got fired, now he's working on Suicide Squad 2.
Don't you, like, doesn't that, like, excite you, though? Like, what he would do? Because that's right up his alley, right? Like, it kind of has that black humor. I mean, Suicide Squad was not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but like with James Gunn writing it, I think it would be a lot more interesting.
I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's working
superhero movies again, because it seems like he really enjoyed that. But I feel like if I wanted a Warner Brother movie to succeed in the DC universe, ideally it wouldn't be Suicide Squad 2 as the first one.
I mean, it's a smart move because, like, every time I heard about anything related to, like, the huge amount of Joker spinoffs and Harley Quinn spinoffs that are coming out, every time I heard about them, I'm like, ugh, don't care. But now it's like,
ugh, I have to, I guess.
It's kind of gone up on my list. They got a good director or a good filmmaker behind it. That's
Speaking
very nice.
of bad films, we saw Venom tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. That was an interesting movie experience. Okay, well, before we get into it, what do you think of Venom to begin with, just as a character?
I don't think you can have a Venom movie without having Spider-Man in there at some point in the origins. It's like having Robin without Batman or War Machine without Iron Man. It's
okay.
You can do it, but it kind of takes away from the character, like a good chunk of the history away from the character.
Right.
He obviously did it, but it's.
Well, what do you think of him as like a comic book character itself? Did you like him growing up? Because he was really popular when we were kids.
Yeah. I mean, he's super 90s, right?
Yeah, very extreme.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember the first time. I think I had the first comic that he was in, the Secret Wars.
Oh, like the symbiote.
Yeah, I remember
not Venom himself, but like the black suit.
When they first introduced him, it was. I think I got it on like a pack of comics, like buy a bundle and you get all these random assortment of characters. Sonic, Superman, Spider-Man were all bundled together, which makes sense from a comic book story.
Yeah, I have the trade paperback of it. Secret Wars is one of my favorite runs that they did. I think it was the first event. That's probably wrong, but I think it was like the first like single event where it wasn't like in someone else's book. It was like
its own thing.
Its own thing, yeah. And then I think that they actually did it because everyone leaves mysteriously, and then it was like still ongoing, but everyone went back to their regular runs, but it was like in continuity, it was after it. So like Spider-Man just showed up in the next issue with black suit, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Or like She-Hulk was suddenly on the Fantastic Four, and Ben Grimm was gone. So
it's been so long since I got that because I remember I had that one. I think it was like 5 issues.
I think it was closer to the 12 or something like that. I think it was like a full year.
Okay, wow, never mind then. I was like, I only had like 3 of them, and I don't. Like, it was so long ago. I don't even remember. I don't remember any of it. I remember the cover.
Yeah,
and that's it. And then I remember seeing
that weird, he's like, unnatural.
Like he's about to like midway through a dance move.
Yeah, he's about to do like the cha-cha slide.
But I remember after that, they aired the episode where Venom shows up, where he gets the symbiote comes to Earth in the TV show.
Oh, right, the animated
and I was like,
show.
oh, that looks familiar. Oh, I have it from a comic.
Right. Yeah, I think that was like my first exposure to him was the animated TV show, like the one from the 90s. That was really good, as I remember it. I haven't really revisited, but
I remember seeing that black suit and thinking when Superman comes back and he has that black suit with like, the mullet, I was like, are they just copying Superman now?
Well, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
Everyone was extreme.
And mullets. Extreme mullets.
Everyone had mullets, that's true. Eddie Brock had a crazy mullet in the
Peter
90s.
did too.
Did he?
Yeah. I think it was the same time when Ben Reilly showed up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because they were around for a little bit. Like, they were early 90s, and then Ben Reilly and the Clone Saga was like mid 90s, maybe.
Also, that Spider-Man game, I was kind of jumping topics, but that
hit me.
That Scarlet Spider costume in Spider-Man, it's pretty good. I thought they were just going to keep it like flat, like no textures, just not like.
Oh, yeah. And then like the strings are animated and the hood is animated. Like it flips around with gravity. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. I was really hoping they put that Ben Reilly suit in though. When he gets away from like the ghetto hoodie that he steals from like a department store. I think he saw it in the window. He's like, oh, yep,
Yeah.
Not just going to wear a red suit.
He rips the sleeves off because it's the 90s.
It's the 90s. I don't know. What did you think of Venom as a character?
As a character, I always, like, as I said, my exposure to him was the cartoon, and my older brother really loved Venom and Carnage. Like, he was
Ben? I bet it was Ben.
No, it was Joel.
Damn it.
But he really liked them. And so, like, by, just being in proximity of that, because he was my cool older brother, I liked them as well. But I just think there's much more interesting Spider-Man villains now. And so I don't know. He was always like cool. He was like the big brute, and he was kind of smart, but yeah. And then Spider-Man 3 came out, and they kind of did a haphazard version of him, to put it gently.
Isn't that about the same time they like just changed Venom?
I think so. I wasn't really reading comics when Spider-Man 3 came out, but
I'm trying to think when Eddie lost the suit and then Matt Gargan took it. I didn't read any of the comics that I ever heard. I just heard or read somewhere that the Venom suit was being auctioned off to the highest bidder.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you I'm trying to picture how you would set that up as a writer. All right, well, Venom's clearly getting boring. Let's get him to auction the suit off.
Yeah, I don't understand why he would do it. I didn't ever read that. It was like, I wasn't into comics, and he was always Eddie Brock for me. And then when I got back into comics, he was Matt Gargan. And I was like, isn't that Scorpion? But
Scorpion's really lame. They need to fix him, and they need to get rid of Venom at the same time.
Watch your mouth. Scorpion's pretty awesome.
What?
Scorpion's one of my favorite villains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, do you know who mine is?
No, I don't. Who?
You have to guess. It's
Mysterio?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I was trying to give you a hint. I was like, he's part of the Sinister Six? Oh, he's going to guess that too. It can't be Doc Ock. It can't be.
Doc Ock's probably my favorite of all time, though.
Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, Venom.
Yes.
So I always liked nothing to him. Like, I thought he was cool because my brother thought he was cool, but I never was like, I need to get a toy of him or something like that. But yeah. So going into this movie, what were you expecting? What did you think when they announced that they were making this movie in the first place? Yeah.
Like they just released Homecoming. So I was like, all right, maybe Sony's figured it out. Marvel's the smart one.
Mm-hmm.
You just pay for everything. You listen to them. And then you make money off of it. Don't do anything stupid. Just, clearly Spider-Man Civil War was a big hit. Just go with it. Don't do anything dumb.
Mm.
And then they announced Venom. Just like, ugh.
And then, and there was that whole confusion because they were like, yeah, it's a part of the MCU. And Kevin Feige's like, well, no, it's not. And it was like, no, but like it's in the same world, but it's not in the same world, because basically when Spider-Man is a viable property again, thanks to Marvel, we're just going to take him back and we're going to put him in our universe that we are going to make for him. So it's in the MCU.
It just feels like, I don't know, just like an impatient child. And it's like, I want to do it my way. I don't want to wait for this thing to cool and stuff it in my face and ruin everything. I don't know, just like, I feel like they were on a good track, and then they pull some dumb shit like that.
Well, it was like, you ever see that video online of like the kids where they give them a marshmallow and say like, if you just hold on to this marshmallow for 5 minutes, you will get a second marshmallow. But none of the kids can do it, and they all eat the marshmallow. That's what Sony is doing with their Spider-Man universe. And I mean, on the one hand, I get it. I mean, they're just supposed to sit on their hands and wait till Marvel makes them another Spider-Man movie. But
pretty much, yeah.
As a fan, I would love that. But like, I get it. I get why they do it. But I think everyone is kind of secretly hoping.
You think they would have had that conversation where like Marvel's talking to Sony? It's like, just don't use any characters that we would use, because we want to use Venom at some point, and it'll make a lot more money. And Sony's like, oh, we can make money off Venom? People like Venom? I want to make a movie called Venom.
Exactly.
No. Okay, at least we got the Sinister Six. People like Sinister Six?
Yes.
Let's make a Sinister Six movie. Wait, are they still doing that?
I have no idea.
I haven't heard anything about it.
My hope is that that's what they're building towards with the MCU Spider-Man, because they've kind of had like a.
They have 2 of them so far in 2 movies.
Once technically 3, right? Because they have Scorpion has a cameo in Homecoming, and Shocker is there if they decide to use him or not. But Vulture for sure.
I can't. Wait. Original Sinister Six. Scorpion, Electro, Mysterio,
Doc
Ock. Is it Chameleon?
Sandman?
And Sandman? Is Chameleon in? I can't remember if he was added in later.
I think he was later. I can't remember if it was Green Goblin or Hobgoblin who started. I think Hobgoblin did it in the cartoon. I can't remember who started it in the 60s comics. But
you think that's a rule in the group where we can only have 6, so they gotta like swap someone out?
Yeah, and then then it's
like Survivor.
Sinister 7 still kind of works, but they don't. They have it trademarked, and then as soon as you start getting like 8 and 9, and the alliteration is gone. It's not as cool. You're not going to sell a T-shirt with Sinister 9. It just
at the meeting, they're
good.
just like, all right, guys, I bought the website already. It's 6, 8, no, can't do it. 7, we tried, but.
This is my friend Craven. He has a spear and he really hates Spider-Man as well.
Yeah, but he dressed like an idiot.
I'm sorry. He seems really cool, but.
Say he's a hunter? Why is he wearing the brightest freaking color?
Is that a lion on his chest?
If I dress like lion, I become lion. I kill lion. All right, off track.
Yeah. Anyway, going into this, I was just like, why are you making this? And I was not planning on seeing this movie in theaters whatsoever. It wasn't until last week I saw a review for it from Screen Junkies. Because
wait a minute, I thought we weren't going to watch reviews or read reviews.
Well, no, that was the thing that made me go like, hey, we should go maybe see this, because I watched a non-spoiler review for it, and they're like, this is a weird one. Like it's not terrible. It's not really good either. It's kind of like the guy their critic there, Dan Murrell, he said that like he was expecting it to be really divisive, like Last Jedi, where there'll be some people who just absolutely love it, and there'll be some people who just hate it with a passion. And I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. So after that, I was like, I kind of want to see this movie. So with that, Victor, what did you think of Venom?
I liked Suicide Squad more. I don't know. It's okay.
I thought it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
It
wasn't there originally Venom wasn't supposed to show up until like the end of the movie? Like, isn't that what the rumors were?
I don't know.
When like the first trailer?
I don't know.
Like in that first trailer where he's in that MRI machine. And
I think just the visual effects weren't done. And so that was like someone being like, well, he's not in the trailer, so he must not be in the movie.
You remember like seeing those thumbnails where people have circled his veins coming, like popping. It's like, oh, that's Venom. No, that's just Tom Hardy's luscious veins popping out of his neck while he screams.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of boring. What did we decide it was? 90 minutes or so?
Yeah.
It felt a lot longer.
Yeah,
and
like
at the same time, a lot of it felt rushed.
About an hour, 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, I was bored a lot of it. It didn't really get interesting until Venom actually showed up and bonded with Eddie. And I will say that Tom Hardy is like the best part of the movie. I found him really interesting. I didn't really like his character.
I also say his character's probably like, yeah, I thought it was pretty good for Eddie Brock.
Yeah, like I didn't really care about him, or like, because they didn't really establish either of them what their goals were. Like Eddie, he just wants to do kind of what's right. He wanted to take down the guy who made him lose his job and stuff. But you know what I mean? Like he wasn't really like, he didn't have a goal. Like if I do this, then everything will be okay. It's just kind of like, I don't like that guy. And then Venom, it was,
I didn't even know he hated. I didn't realize they were on a mission to like.
Yeah. So what was the bad guy's plan? Well, I guess there was two bad guys. There was Carlton Drake, the CEO of the company.
Oh, that was his name?
Oh yeah. They said it like 800 times in the movie.
Oh.
And then there was Riot, who was another symbiote who wanted to go to space.
Wait, what is Riot?
It was Riot. He was a symbiote.
Well,
that's how they said it in the movie.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Wait.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Oh, they did. I always called
totally
it
said
symbiote. I always called it symbiote, but they said symbiote.
Okay, well they're wrong. Yeah, I had no idea for a long time like what the bad guy's goals were.
Because
he was Carlton?
Carlton Drake.
I'm just picturing Carlton from like Fresh Prince now.
Yeah. He was played by Riz Ahmed, I think his name is. He was in Rogue One. He was the pilot. Rogue One. You know the guy? Yeah, he died. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. He was, every time we went back to a scene with him, I was just like, because it's not him. He's a great actor, but like it's the writing. Like he's evil for evil's sake. Like it's just because I'm evil because reasons. Like he started off evil, he ended evil.
I mean, he was doing some good for the city. He was getting rid of the homeless. And curing cancer.
So if you're listening, you haven't heard or you haven't watched the movie, this guy, Carlton Drake, was the CEO of a big company called the Life Foundation. And Eddie Brock is a hard-hitting gotcha journalist who is investigating him because homeless people are missing, and he's linking it to this guy who's using them for genetic testing. And at the very beginning of the movie, this guy, Carlton Drake, finds aliens and he starts testing them. And then the movie happens. And
wow.
Yeah.
Kind of happens.
It kind of happens.
Really? Wait, Life Foundation.
Life Foundation.
That sounds familiar.
I'm sure it is a Spider-Man thing. I wasn't really reading comics when all the symbiote stuff happened. But because there was one name I recognized, the astronaut at the beginning. His name was Jameson.
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson's son was John Jameson. He was an astronaut.
Yeah, actually, that's like the one reference I recognized.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and maybe they will recognize, or maybe they will like mention Spider-Man here.
Maybe. I don't know. But they didn't. Spoilers. They didn't mention Spider-Man. He doesn't show up. There was no Tom Holland cameo.
Okay, so Life Foundation is a fictional survivalist group appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Primarily an enemy of Spider-Man, organization exists within Marvel's main shared universe known as the Marvel. Okay, that's just a lot of crap. So yeah, I guess it does exist.
Yeah, and I think Jenny Slate's character, the scientist who let Eddie into the building.
Oh, okay.
I think she was a character. I think she was supposed to be Scream. I think is that her name? The yellow symbiote.
Oh yeah, they never clarified what happened.
I think what was her name? Because it sounded like they called her Dr. Skirt, which I thought was really sexist. But I don't think that was her actual name.
I mean, there's I don't know. I'm just trying to pull characters out that they could possibly use her for. Like, do you remember the character Shriek?
Shriek, maybe that. I think that's what I'm referring to. I don't think. Yeah, Scream is not her. Yeah, so Shriek.
No, but she wasn't a symbiote though.
She wasn't.
No, she was like, she had like super pale white skin, but she had like.
Oh, okay.
She screamed at you. She's a screamer.
I don't know. I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember any of the characters' names. Like I remember Eddie, obviously, Venom, Anne, the love interest. Dan was
Anne's new boyfriend, who she got with very quickly.
6 months.
The way,
6 months. That's
6 months after being engaged to somebody.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were engaged.
And it's one thing to be dating someone, but he had a key to her place. Like I kind of thought about that. I was like, whoa, she's moving awful fast. I mean,
he's a doctor.
He's a surgeon, yeah, but
Yeah.
still,
he can do no harm.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he took an oath.
Yeah,
Do no harm. Yeah, I don't remember any of the characters. Like Riot, the doctor dude, the evil doctor dude, who was apparently a prodigy and does a bunch of cool stuff when he was young.
Did you notice he gave his pin away to a kid at the beginning? Yeah. First off, I had a problem with that because I was like, what CEO has time to give a personal tour to a bunch of kids of his foundation? I mean, it would be one thing if Eddie was there because then it's like a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
But then he gives his pin away and next scene, he has another pin. So is it a continuity error or does he just have a bunch of pins that he always has?
Of course he has a bunch of pins. His assistant just has a box them. Every time he gives one, he's like, oh,
he's
all
just
right.
Like,
gotta go grab another one.
Give me another pin. I have an interview in 5 minutes. I want to look good.
I mean, I guess he rushed right up to her, right? Wait, that girl that was calling Eddie out on his interview questions, was that his assistant or was that?
I think that was like a representative from his newspaper or whatever they were.
I was hoping they would mention the Daily Bugle at one point, like, at the end there. And he was like, oh, I got like an interview of a lifetime. I was like an interview for a job or like, you say you're not going to do your show anymore.
I think that was referring to the after credit scene.
Oh. Do you think people realize this is going to be like a spoiler podcast?
I don't know. You could record a spoiler warning right now. You could be like, hey, spoilers, and then put it in front. Let's just say that from this point on, we're talking about the movie as if you saw the movie with us. You were right there, sweating beside us in that hot theater. Anyway,
wasn't that hot.
What was
also,
I
I'm not
talking
going to
about
move that over. People are just going to hear that mid podcast.
Just move it. Just move it to the front. Anyway, so the bad guy, he was just kind of very generic, but and the movie itself kind of felt like an old superhero movie, like
Sony had never made a superhero movie nor seen any from a well-known successful company.
It just kind of felt like Ben Affleck's Daredevil, or
it wasn't that bad.
Well, I'm not saying it was on that level of quality, but just the tone of it and like what happened in it just kind of felt kind of by the numbers and stuff. And like, yeah.
I mean, he ate people. That's different.
They did.
First guy, he like bit his head off. And I was like, wait, did he bite his head off?
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, did you just bite his head off, Venom? He's like, oh yeah, I did. I'm like, oh, all right. They're going that direction with this movie.
Yeah. What did you think of the girlfriend, Anne?
She was very dismissive at the beginning when you first ran into her. Stopped outside of her apartment creepily.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh my God, Eddie, do you need help? You don't sound so good.
She was an Asian victim.
Everyone's Asian to me. I don't know. It's she kind of turned around a little bit too quick. I mean, it's only been 6 months.
Well, I mean, yeah. Like if your ex was like, because that was like night and day of like how he was acting in the restaurant, and like he was clearly sick, or
maybe that's how he normally acts, and we just didn't see any of it in the movie.
I don't know, yeah. And
there goes Eddie again, just devouring raw lobsters.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like it was like a sudden jump for her to break up with him. Like I get it, I get her reasoning, but it was just like that morning there was like, we're the perfect couple, and then we went on a date and we were lovely together and we had such a great time. I can't wait to marry you. We're so happy. And then it was like, you got me fired. See you later. Like I get it, but it was just it was kind of jarring going from
maybe it was one of those relationships that took off really quick. You know, maybe they were only seeing each other for a year and
he popped the question.
Yeah.
They were living together though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe Dr. Dude was only about 6 months away from getting engaged.
Maybe she moves way too fast.
She's the whole problem.
She makes rash decisions in her love life.
What was her job again?
She was a lawyer. She worked for a firm that represented the Life Foundation.
Oh, that's why she got that weird email.
And if it's confidential information, don't encrypt it. Like, why would you just send that through a PDF over in, was it Mike? It was Outlook, right? That he was using. It looked like Outlook.
I thought it was a Mac.
Even still, that's like anyone can get into that. You can't just write confidential on something. Like encrypt it. You give them a password for something like that.
Oh, maybe I'm just lazy with my emails.
Well, I mean, what are you sending that could potentially lose a company billions of dollars? I'm just saying.
Well, when I was working with, a certain company, like I had to sign that NDA that was like, you can't talk about anything that you do here. And here's a bunch of information that's super sensitive about our company and what our goals are.
And you sent that out via email?
Yeah. There was no password required. I mean,
May
even logging my
this out, Victor.
I just won't say the company name.
No one will know.
Actually, I wonder, because like, did I tell you when I left the office like on my first day, and I was talking to one of my coworkers that got hired that same day about the project, and we got back from lunch, and I got pulled aside into another office from everyone else. It's just me and the VP and the director of the project. And I was like, hey, just want to clarify, you're not allowed to talk about stuff, right? Just want to make sure that you didn't have any questions about the NDA.
Right away.
They're like, oh, this kid looks like he has a big mouth.
You're just springing leaks left, right?
But they had someone follow me. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker.
You had a whistle around your neck. That's why.
He didn't even leave the block. He started talking about it.
As soon as he got outside, just told anyone, grabbed anyone on the street.
It's true. I was talking to the guy. I was like, we hadn't even left the block yet. And I started talking about it. Yeah, it was bad. Anyways, leave my integrity out of this.
She was fine. She was kind of like the standard superhero girlfriend. And it's kind of a stereotype now that they have to like give them something to do. And I'd rather give them nothing to do than shoehorn them into the climax of the movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like how, because at the end of the movie, she runs in and sets off the ultrasound.
You know what I was thinking when she ran in there? Because the guy before that was trying to stop the launch.
Yeah.
And he had that manual open. I was like, are they seriously going to have her find that stupid manual?
I thought that too.
And then it's just like following the instructions to cancel the launch.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It's like if they did that, I would have probably just got up and left at that point.
No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
You would have stayed till the end.
I was pretty annoyed with that movie at that point. I was like, really? They're going to have her cancel the launch? And then she had to play the ultrasound. Wait, how did she even get that?
Yeah, I don't know. She just...
It's like put two mics together?
I don't know, but she had the volume going there. That's all they showed.
Do you think the mic was just constantly...
Just
like
blaring?
It was just a hot mic?
Sonic noise. Also, like... I like that there was one guy in the room who kind of acknowledged how crazy the bad guy was being at the end.
The camera literally like pointed to it or like focused on his face.
He's like, ooh,
I don't know
pulls
about
his
this.
collar. Like, the guy's like, yeah, I'm going to pilot it. And it's like, you can't pilot. You're one person. He's like, I'm not alone. And they're like, okay. He owns the company. Let him do what he wants. Just let him take $1 billion spacecraft into space by himself. It's fine. It'll work
like
out.
And everyone was just like, this is weird. And then the one guy is like, all right, clearly no one's going to like be man enough to stop him. So I'm going to do it myself.
Quietly abort. Oh man.
He's the first one to get stabbed.
So what, okay. What was the plan? So Riot, this is the evil symbiote. He crash lands at the beginning and he gets out of his containment unit in the spacecraft and goes and he's in Jameson, the astronaut.
Gross. Yes.
So then in the ambulance, he transfers from Jameson to an EMT.
Yeah. And then from an EMT to an old, helpless Asian woman down in Chinatown somewhere.
And then to a little girl in the airport.
He just keeps choosing worse and worse bodies.
Oh, man. Okay. So, and then his plan was
to find the other symbiotes that were there. And
so why run away from the crash in the first place? Like,
maybe he wanted to see the world first.
Like literally, okay, He's in the astronaut. He causes an accident in the ambulance, goes into the EMT, and the EMT, as she's walking away, she just has a patch from the astronaut that says Life Foundation.
Oh, it's not for her. It's for us.
I understand that. But it's to show that that's where she's going, right?
Yeah.
Those were the guys at the crash site. Go with them. Like, why do you have to walk there? Because it's going to take you 6 months to do it. Like,
Oh yeah, it took him 6 months.
like I think it would be more interesting if
So
Carlton Drake was a good CEO, and then right at the beginning of the movie, he gets bonded with Riot, and Riot just poisons his mind throughout the whole movie.
wait, I'm curious. 6 months. So was he in that either that old woman for 6 months or the little girl for 6 months?
Probably the old woman for the longest.
That's weird. I'm trying to like follow, like just imagine 6 months in that body.
She must have been a good match. Maybe she would actually like let him eat stuff.
Doesn't look like she had the will to fight anything.
Yeah.
She was like on her way out the door.
I don't know why he even transferred to the little girl, to be honest. I don't know why they transferred at all.
Because the old lady didn't have a
They
passport.
didn't really explain what. I guess
You needed a passport.
maybe why. She was in like a poor district when he found her. But I didn't understand. Did they explain why the symbiotes couldn't last very long in bodies? Was it that they weren't eating?
I think it was partially because like it sounded like you need to be a good match for them genetically.
Right.
Like the rabbit worked for some freaking reason.
Because I had a full belly, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they didn't, like they just had like a farm of bunnies to just analyze each one. It's like, yeah, you look like you'd fit this organism that we know nothing about.
Yeah, because like it did, I don't know. It just seemed a little inconsistent because there was that first guy with the long hair named Isaac, because he told that story from the Bible.
I remember Isaac's name over the evil dudes.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Remember I was telling you there's a kid beside me who was just talking throughout the whole movie. So the bad guy does this monologue about Abraham and Isaac from the Bible. He goes through the whole thing and he gives like a pep talk to the guy who's about to be bonded with a symbiote. And right after the monologue ends, you just hear the kid ask his dad, "He's lying, right?" Anyway, so that guy dies. So immediately, I don't understand why, because it's not a good match. Is that the logic?
I guess, but then Riot was able to like just jump from host to host.
Yeah, and
No
then
big
like
deal.
like the symbiote jumps from Eddie to the first dog he sees to Anne, and they all seem compatible. Is it just that Venom is like O negative and it's like
He's just
it's
a
a
slut,
universal donor? Like he can just do.
just whoring himself around to all these hosts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to question that, but I'm trying to think. Did they have that issue in the comics too, where they couldn't survive too long on their own?
I don't
feel
know.
like there was something about that, like Venom feeling too weak, so he needed to bond with. Eddie again.
I would get that. Like it needs to eat and it can't eat by itself, so it needs like a body to help break it down or something. But also, Eddie ate that entire guy at the end, and then he just turned back into Eddie. So where did that guy go?
I was thinking that too.
What's
I
that dump going to
assume
be
they-
like the next day?
I'm assuming he just absorbs it into the symbiote.
Yeah.
That's a glaring issue.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just disappear.
Yeah,
So
it's
wait,
a lot of mass to break
I mean,
down.
Eddie's
in
face
seconds.
was inside Venom's mouth.
Yeah.
So you think when he bit off a face, just like hit Eddie in the mouth?
just smacks him in the face. Yeah.
What do you do with that? You just dissolve bodies?
Maybe that's
Instantly?
really quick to do that.
It is really quick. Why don't you do that all the time?
Yeah.
So keep your mouth open. Just run bad guys down.
Yeah. So, okay, what did you think of Venom itself? Like the look? Like what?
It looked good. Made no sense. I mean,
Yeah.
like the weird white eyes with the Spider-Man eyes. I assume that was something that they picked up from.
Yeah, it was, but I mean, like it works by itself. Like it's not like inexplicable, like having a giant spider on his chest would have been.
Yeah, that's true.
Like because the rest of the eyes were like that.
Well, I was hoping they would have gone either. Well, it seems like every time Sony or Marvel does anything with Spider-Man, they go the Ultimate Spider-Man route, not necessarily the 616 comic book.
Yeah, he didn't have the spider on his chest, right?
Yeah. Well, originally it was supposed to be like a cure for cancer, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then
it went bad.
And then it somehow developed intelligence and.
Well, it bonded with Peter, and then it grew smart because of that, I think.
Oh, was it? I don't know anything about it. I don't know. You didn't have the spider logo on initially, and then getting it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it because it wouldn't have made sense for him to have it. But
Venom's face looked good though.
Yeah, it did.
Like the expressive eyes and then the teeth.
Yeah, I liked that. I did like the way he moved, like especially when he climbed up the building, the newspaper building.
Oh, just
like it was just very like Hulk. Like, I liked that.
Just tearing shit up.
What did you think of it? Like when it was just by itself, like when it would be like up against glass and stuff like that.
Oh wow, it's a CGI puddle. Fantastic.
I was wondering how they were going to do it because I did like how they did it in Spider-Man 3, where it was like
car,
like sharp veins that were just like grabbing stuff.
Yeah,
I liked that, but I don't know. It reminded me of those like silly sticker things that you would like whip and it would stick to the wall.
Oh, I used to love those.
Yeah, what are those called?
How many times I've lost those? How many of those I've had and lost as a kid?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, it looked good. One thing I didn't like about, one of the main things I didn't like about that movie was that this looked really CGI. Like, I don't know, it's a fully CGI character. Get it. But he didn't look as good as like the Hulk or like Thanos. Well,
yeah,
maybe close as Thanos.
Well, Thanos, they spent a lot of money on him. And I kind of got that feeling, like even just with the casting, that they spent all of their money on Tom Hardy and
like
CGI, like because
actually,
like even like the head henchman, I've never seen him before. Like,
I forgot about him.
Yeah, the guy who almost was not Bill Burr, but what kind of was.
Yeah, kind of looked like Bill Burr.
Yeah.
I mean, he would fit the profile. Angry, white, bald dude.
Yeah. You're like,
Actually, one thing I really liked, that final fight when evil Doctor Dude and Eddie was fighting and the symbiotes were kind of like warping around them, kind of tearing apart around them. That was really cool. Like that slow motion like shot.
Oh, you liked that? Cool. I was like, I cannot tell what is going on.
And actually that comment the ride made is like, oh, you have a strong host. In what sense? Like
it works out.
Oh, you seen him? He
eats a lot of tater tots.
Actually, is that the first thing that he ate? Like frozen tater tots?
Frozen tater tots, yeah. And then he ate rancid chicken.
Actually, I read somewhere that he ate raw chicken out of the garbage can, so I was waiting for that and bracing myself for the gross sounds that they're going to put in for that. It was a cooked chicken. It was just old.
Yeah, just old. Yeah. Like there was a lot of weird moments in it, like weird, odd humor. There was times when you're laughing with the movie and other times where you're laughing at it. It's just weird movie.
Are you excited for a sequel? Do you want a sequel?
I think it has potential. There's a post-credit scene where Cletus Cassidy shows up. For those not familiar with the comics, it's Carnage, which is another famous symbiote Spider-Man villain. But and Woody Harrelson is playing him.
Like I made a bad joke about like, is that Carrot Top? But it really does look like it. That wig looked terrible.
He had it's like Pennywise from It, like that kind of.
Yeah, it was bright red.
Bright red, kind of curly ape man's afro.
Yeah, he was a character. He was a character for sure.
And all he did in it was he name dropped Carnage.
When I get out,
I was excited for it until he said that, and I was like, oh man.
Actually, when Eddie walked into that room, he was writing "Welcome, Eddie" on the wall
in blood.
In blood.
So assuming it's his blood.
Yeah, okay, that's a lot of blood though.
Yeah. Must have been doing that all morning.
Yeah. Because like I don't know if you ever smeared blood on like concrete or metal. It doesn't show up very well. You have to go over it a few times probably.
I've never done that.
No. I've cut myself before.
And you just had a piece of sheet metal that you just started
near
spelling
metal.
stuff. Yeah.
I remember thinking, going back, and it's like, oh.
You know what? I don't have tetanus. I'll just rub it on here.
I got my tetanus shots. I'm a grown adult, responsible.
Okay. But yeah, so the post-credit scene, they teased Carnage for the sequel. And I would much have rather see Carnage as a villain, but it kind of screams to me like the problem that Iron Man got a lot of flack for, where it's like, oh, so you're just going to fight another symbiote in the next movie? Like, you can't just keep playing the same trick, because the trick wasn't that good to begin with.
Well, like, then the other issue is, like, Venom, like, Carnage is like a spawn of Venom. So, like, I can't remember the reasoning behind it in the first place in the comics. But I'm assuming it's because Venom was still evil. And he's like, I need another one to destroy Spider-Man.
Yeah, or it was accidental or something. I don't know.
But it's like, you're meeting this dude as Eddie Brock. Venom obviously knows Venom. It's like, oh, he looks like a good dude. I like people. He's a good person. I'm clearly a good judge of character. Let's give him part of my symbiote. Let's have a child. Wait, would that be Venom and Eddie's child?
I don't know. Probably, because in the comics, at least, like, the symbiote retained memories of previous hosts, right? So that's why he could sneak up on Spider-Man.
Did Carnage know who Spider-Man was?
Probably, yeah.
I can't remember that ever being mentioned or referenced.
I'm sure he did. He definitely did after he became Spider Carnage.
All right.
Yeah.
That was actually, I actually liked that arc. That was pretty neat. But, oh man, cool, that was I think I could have gone the rest of my life without that movie, the knowledge of that movie. I'm going to add that to the list.
Right up there with, you'll never watch again.
Yeah, right up there with like, I can't remember. Daredevil, Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad I would watch again over
Justice League.
Justice League, I don't watch it again.
I've been watching, like, it shows up on my YouTube, like, suggested clips very often. Like, oh, the final battle in Justice League, or Superman versus Justice League. And I'd click on them because I'm curious. Maybe it wasn't that bad.
So yeah, all in all, I didn't really like this movie.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah. But
well, I'm glad. It would have been really awkward if you really liked it and I hated it, or the opposite.
I don't know. I was being pretty blatant with my body language throughout the entire movie. There's a few times where I yawned loudly.
I remember looking at you when the credits rolled, and I was like, "Oh, does he like it? Was it okay for him? Oh, I don't want to shit on it right away."
No, I didn't like it. It was not as. It wasn't the worst movie in the world, but it was mostly boring for me. It was boring and kind of not original. Like one of the things I thought about was that, like, the action sequences, they didn't throw me at all, because like right off the bat, Eddie gets hurt. He like breaks his leg and like mid shin, and like he's got broken fingers and stuff. And Venom just heals him. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so there's no stakes to these fights. So if there's no stakes, then
and he's bulletproof. Well,
yeah, exactly. If there's no stakes, then you better make it look interesting.
Yeah.
And they weren't interesting. They were generic car chases. Oh, and man, how funny what did you think of their drones that they were using?
Oh, they're super expensive disposable drones
that are suicide bombers. Why not just mount a gun on the thing? Like,
have you ever flown a drone before, Josh? But those things don't hold like a lot of weight.
I mean,
actually,
like, hey, let's send out 15. Looks like a couple hundreds of thousands of dollars of drones, and just smash them into the street and hope we hit them.
Actually, there was one where he actually I think it was the last one. No, second last one where Eddie rips off the like a car door and blocks like an explosion, and then he drops it in the next shot. But the door looks perfectly fine. Like it was the interior of the door, like a luxury car had like leather, and it was fine. It looked perfectly well attached. Like it just came off the car.
Yeah,
it took an explosion.
Oh man. So anyway, I didn't really like it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad we agreed.
Yeah,
that wouldn't really
it would
awkward.
Be interesting for podcasting.
I think we're at like, where are we at now? Is that an hour? Oh, wrap it there.
Sure. Do you want to like actually do like a send off or something?
Trying to think. What do you do for a send off?
I don't know. Join us next week when we discuss something else. This has been this podcast. We'll
think of a better name for it.
Yeah.
It's first episode.
Almost regular.
Nobody.
What was the other one you liked? What was the name you liked?
Oh, I can't remember.
You can't remember?
What was it? The average from
You know what we didn't do? We didn't introduce ourselves at all. We just started talking.
Oh, it's okay. I'll just record something later.
Okay.
And I'll introduce both of us.
Welcome to the. Let's pretend that we did it. We'll just leave a space and you can add the title in. Welcome to.
Wow, that's such a good name, Victor. Good job. High five, Josh. All right.
I'm Josh, and that's Victor. Thanks
That's
for
me.
listening.
All right.
If anyone is.
Oh, wow. Right on an hour. I'm impressed.
Good night.